need his name up in lights. He just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat of the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know. But no, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about
Hey guys, so we have Goose back here. Right there, he was pinning his ears when I asked him to move, and so I got onto him there. He's really bad about when I first ask him to go, that he wants to be really sticky-footed, so I'm working on getting that out of him. After that, he didn't do it again, which is kind of my main goal. I eventually want to where I can just point and he doesn't pin his ears, or when I get on him, he won't pin his ears. You'll see later on in the video, he does kick out today. And see how I kind of fix that there. So this is a nice circle here. He changes directions really well. He's really listening to me and getting on his butt, which I really, really like. And we're getting that respect out of this stage. I really like how he's calmed down with this exercise. He's not cantering away. He's not running away. He's trotting next to me nice and smoothly. He's getting softer in the head. You can see that head starting to bend. So that's really nice looking exercise there. It's getting a lot better today. So here I'm about to work on yielding the 4/4. He kind of acted like he didn't really remember what I was asking. When I asked this, usually horses will take that first step right now, and he didn't. It took a while, and he eventually got it, but it just takes patience, and as you can see, he's hooked going backwards rather than forward this time, which is a good problem to have. And he's actually getting out of my way. He's not running that shoulder into me, so he's at least got the memory of get out of my space, which is a huge difference from day one. So here's an example of sneaking in that hide your hiney there. Any exercise you do, you should be able to turn around and look at his hindquarters, and he should pop his butt away from you, because 2 eyes is always better than 2 heels. So I kind of surprised him there with that, was able to whack him right there. He should have gotten a whack because he's just being a little slow there. So I always make sure that I flex my horses when I get on, and that's going to teach them to not run off. A lot of horses, you'll see riders, as they mount their horses walk off, or in really extreme cases, their horses will canter off, and they don't really care if the rider's halfway on, partly way on, if the rider's dragging behind them, and it's just something to encourage the horse to stand there and wait for your go. So I should be able to move all around this colt, and he shouldn't move a muscle. So I really like how his head is starting to relax. He's not focused on putting it up or pinning his ears. He's letting me move all over him. That's a really good sign. So right here, I was teaching him to stop with my seat. So basically, I am posting, and then I'm going to sit down for 3 seconds. I'm not going to pull on my reins, and then I flex him. So right here, he was anticipating that stop. I'm just going to kick him or squeeze him, and that's going to just push him forward. I'm going to let him commit to his mistake, and then I'm going to correct it. I don't just assume that he's going to do the mistake and then correct it. Let him commit to it, and then get after him. So right here is an example of what I'm doing to ask for the stop. So I'm sitting down, my reins have not been touched. Sit down for 3 seconds, and then I'm going to flex his head. That kind of throws him off balance, and it also is going to work on getting him soft and supple. And so later down, you'll see whenever I sit down, I don't even have to touch my reins. He's going to stop for me. So I'm teaching him to get used to that feeling there. So here's an example of him stopping without me having to flex him. I'm sitting down, and he gets it right there. I haven't touched my reins, so I'm just going to pet him to say good job. But I'm still going to throw a flex in there, maybe 1 or 2, just to kind of get him soft. So right here, he's coming around. I want you to look at my reins. They're nice and loose. I'm not picking him up. I'm sitting down 1, 2, 3, and he stops. So I just love on him, just rub him, say good boy, and then throw in a flex. He's getting that rest because he's getting a breather. He's not having to work as hard. So he's enjoying that break. And when I flex him, I'm flexing way too high. I should be going down my the seam of my jeans. I'm going up to my belly button, so that's a no-no. So right here, Goose is really bad about running your leg into the fence. And you can't see it on this video, but what I basically do is whenever he gets really close to that fence, I'll turn his head in towards it. It works better if you have a 6-foot high fence or even taller, and that way it kind of blocks them from having their head go over the panel. But that's when that shook right there, is I turned him in and I kind of made his head kind of not necessarily just whack against the panel, but he knows that the panel's there, and so that protects my leg. Because right now, he's not feeling a thing when he hits my leg on that panel. It's me having to feel that, and I don't want to have to ride a horse that's constantly going to run into panels. So here's a good example of a stop at the canter. I set down, not pulling on the reins. He stops. That's what I want. Eventually, his head's gonna go down, and all that fancy stuff will start coming gradually with being soft and supple. But that's kind of what you look for in the horse. Right here, my cat kept crying. He likes to check out the horses when I'm working with him, and I got off, and he ended up jumping in the saddle. So I just thought it was something funny to add in to give y'all a little humor. He liked to ride Goose today, and kind of be on his back. Okay, back to all seriousness. Here is where one of the parts that Goose kicked out. You can't see what I did after. I'm going to have to find a place to put my camera that you can see the whole round pin. But basically, I just kept smacking him. And even if those kicks get higher, that's not a buck. He's just kicking out. He's crow hopping. He's being sticky-footed. Just keep whacking him. Whatever you can do to be effective. If it's kicking, if it's using the end of your reins, whatever you have to do to get him going. So if you watch those last few clips, you can notice he looks really uncomfortable going to the right. I've noticed that he is uncomfortable going to the right. He doesn't catch his leads as easy. He prefers to turn to the left. Typically in these exercises, for the first few times I teach it, I let the horse go where he wants. I get miles under their feet, time under the saddle. I don't really focus on direction. However, this time, he was so focused on only going to the left, it really did no good because he never wanted to go to the right. You'll watch as these clips keep going. Every time I asked him to go to the right, he kept trying to stop, or he'd try to turn, or he'd run my foot into the fence because he knows I'm going to turn him around and get him off that fence. So basically what I want to do is 2/3 to that side and 1/3 to the left. That way, it's kind of like left-handed, right-handed. If I only did everything to the left and let him kind of get his way, he's not going to learn the right side, and he's not going to be as great of a horse that he could be. You know, he's always going to be sticky. He's always going to kick out. He's never going to get his leads. So you want to do both sides of that rein. That's all I have for today, guys, but thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions or any comments. Thank you so much again, and please make sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel.